going on, Chief? Happy. It's not really the Christmas episode. It's not really the New Year's episode. It's just an episode between Christmas. It's sandwiched in between Christmas and New Year's. Extra Point Podcast.
It'll be the New Year's games.
Yeah. New Year's games heating up. Last 2 weeks of the year. We're going to talk about that. I would like to ask you this. Do you remember a distinct moment like with John Madden calling a game? Or no, you just remember. I mean, I don't have a
I just know I mean I know he's like the big time caller of so many historical games.
Yep.
He's coached in the league and been very successful with that as well. I mean, the game NFL Madden is named after John Madden.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's an icon. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You can't get past it. So R.I.P. to John Madden for sure.
Yeah. He was all like the NFL films, videos of him just going boom right there in the hole, or boom. Like that was his phrase. And I don't remember. I think it was the last game he called. Was it Cardinals Steelers, that 2009 Super Bowl? Maybe. I can't remember, but I remember, hearing him and Al Michaels on the call for that time, and then Collinsworth came in. But I was so little, I don't really have a distinct memory. But he was, he's a Hall of Famer, obviously. He's a Hall of Fame coach, broadcaster, whatever. He's just an absolute legend, and
he's helped transform the game to where it is.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's such a tough. That's tough, but hopefully that all these players these next few weeks can really kind of carry it on for him and kind of go play some great football. But let's talk. All right, so we have 2 weeks left, and as it stands now, let me just look at this or talk about the standings real quickly. So in the AFC, you have the Chiefs, who have locked up their division, so they're number one right now. They're 11-4. Titans at 2, they're 10-5. Bengals at 3, 9-6. Bills, they lead the AFC East now, 9-6. Colts are the first wild card team, 9-6. Patriots, second wild card team, 9-6. And the Dolphins, who are on an absolute tear right now, we'll talk about them. They're 8-7. Then you have the Ravens, who are 8-7 on the outside looking in. Chargers 8-7. Raiders 8-7. Then you have teams like the Steelers, Browns, Broncos, who it's probably a long shot right now. Steelers are 7-7-1. Browns are 7-8. Broncos are 7-8. And then over in the NFC, this is a mouthful. The number one seed, the Packers, they're 12-3. Right behind them, nipping at their heels, the Dallas Cowboys, 2. Rams at 3. Buccaneers at 4. Cowboys, Rams, and Bucks are all 11-4. You have the Cardinals, who are the first wild card team. They're 10-5. Niners 8-7, and then the Eagles are the last team in. They're 8-7. And then you have a couple of 7-8 teams: Vikings, Falcons, Saints, and then they're pretty much done at this point. But Washington is 6-9. So it's what is intriguing. Before we talk about the games, what is intriguing to you about the standings?
I'm just intrigued at more or less of how many teams are just fighting for a last spot right now.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about this, if say all the teams right now, we stayed at the 16 game schedule because it's week 17 right now. This is normally the last week of the season in years past. The Dolphins would be out.
Yeah. Yes, they would.
The Dolphins would be out, and there wouldn't be any debate, debacle, nothing like that. And then at the same time, then it's a fight between the Niners, Eagles, and the NFC.
Yeah.
I mean, this last wild card spot, it's a big deal. It's nobody's safe right now, and it's not something that we get to experience every year. No, we've seen it in the past. There's no doubt about it. But the amount of teams that are still in it right now is definitely, it's mind blowing for 18 weeks, 17 games.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how the Dolphins, we'll talk about them. We'll talk about all these teams specifically, but just the Dolphins are on a 7-game tear right now, and they're the last team in. the Ravens, it seems like you feel like the Ravens, you have Lamar Jackson, Harbaugh's a good coach. You'd think like they would be in this thing easily, but no, they're on the outside looking in. The Chargers and Raiders actually play each other the last week of the year, and they're both 8-7. That is massive. They're right there as well. I mean, we'll talk about each of these matchups, but I think the AFC is really intriguing. The NFC, the Eagles. I mean, look, I was one of the many people who questioned like the Sirianni hire. Like, why would you fire a Super Bowl winning head coach after just 4 years, and then bring in a quarterback coach from Indianapolis? Like, it was middle of the pack offense. He's not even a coordinator. He's a quarterback coach. Why would you do that? Just goes to show you what I know about football. Obviously, Sirianni has them right there in the thick of it, and we'll see what happens. But let's dive into the schedule, unless you have anything else to add, because I think my points are pretty flawless. Like, I don't think you need to add any more onto it, but whatever. It is what it is.
You're always flawless in your own head.
Yep. All right, so we're in week 17, but week 16. Looking at the schedule, if I can pull it up. I don't care about the NBA. I do care about the NBA, but whatever. So scores. So the Christmas Day games. So on Saturday, on Christmas Day, Packers played the Browns. Packers end up winning 24-22. Kind of a game where, as a Packer fan, I don't love the fact that we start, like, we defer to the second half, which is fine. But it seems like every time we do that, we start off 7-0, or we start off down 7-0, and I don't like that. Even though we have Aaron Rodgers, I don't like that. Browns got off to a good start, but then we kind of turned the tide. Get up 21-12 at half. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know why I didn't lead with this. Aaron Rodgers throws his, franchise leading 443rd touchdown pass down Lazard, and greatest quarterback of all time. I've said that many times. But Packers, anyway, to carry on for the game, Packers are up 21-12 at half. They only score 3 points in the second half, and have to hold on to the end. Baker threw 4 picks too, and the Packers still had to hold on. Nick Chubb went off, but in total, the Browns ran for 219 yards. That's an issue that plagued the Packers last year, or 2 years ago, really, in the NFC Championship game against the Niners. Thought they had it figured out last year, and that wasn't why they lost to Tampa. But the run defense was troubling. They did get 5 sacks, and they got 4 picks, but they only won by 2. Aaron had a good game, but they just couldn't close the door, and that's what some people are worried about. In my opinion, I think this, you can look at this many ways. I think it's a good loss because they won, and it wasn't flawed. Like, they have plenty of problems they need to look at, and they're also getting Jair Alexander back. He was activated today. All-pro left tackle David Bakhtiari. Guys are coming back. Zadarius Smith. Guys are coming back for them. So it wasn't the prettiest win. They couldn't close the door, and I was nervous. I can promise you that, because I did not want to hear about them losing all week to the Browns. With that said, though, they got the win. Rasul Douglas is maybe Andre Rison is probably the greatest in-season acquisition in Packers history for all those 1996 Packers fans out there. But Rasul Douglas, if this team goes on a run here and wins it all, Rasul Douglas could be one of the greatest mid-season acquisitions in NFL history. Like, just because of his, not because of his, like, not because he's some like all-pro player, but this year, like, what he's done, to the impact he's had. If Rasul Douglas isn't there, the Packers take off 2, 3, 4 wins maybe. He's been that dynamic and that helpful on defense. So with that said, I'll cede it over to you.
I wonder if you're passionate about the Packers at all.
I don't think so.
Nah. No, I mean, you basically hit it. But at the same time, the Browns, what are they? Like, a lot of people were projecting them to be in it, like, towards the end.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
And now they're mediocre at best. And it's tough to watch, because you almost cheered for them at the beginning of the season. Now you're just like, it's the same old Browns.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's not the same old Browns, because they're actually winning football games. Like,
yep.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what to think of it. The Packers, I mean, they always do this in the regular season. They'll get to another NFC Championship game and then probably end up losing that, probably
Okay,
to the
all right, all right.
Cowboys.
That's enough. That's okay. We need to talk about that. I will say, the way people talk about the Browns, like the way ESPN talks about them so much, it's kind of like they're the Eagles from last year, like with Wentz. Like they just kept struggling. They couldn't get anything together. That's what this feels like. It'll be interesting to see what the Browns do with Baker's contract. I will say this: remember all those years, Johnny Manziel, Brandon Whedon. I can't think of all the names that have come through Cleveland.
There's so many.
Shaw. I can't. Yeah, Brian Hoyer. Like, look,
Josh McCown.
if you guys want to get through, if you guys want to get through or let Baker go, just remember those names because I think Baker is better than all of them. I think his talent is better than all of them. I would at least I would maybe sign him to a one year contract. You know, give him the franchise tag, see what happens because there was so much like the Odell situation. They're trying to figure out how to move without him now. Like I think Baker should get one more season, see what they do, and figure out how to go with Jarvis again. Figure out how to go with Njoku and Hooper, Peoples Jones, and then you have the arguably the best running back duo in the game. So it's definitely a murky situation in Cleveland. But if I were the Browns, I would give Baker one more chance. I really would, just to see what it would be like a full season without Odell because they were, that was kind of the thing. Like they were moving without Odell, like they were good without Odell, and now they're trying to figure out a way. So I give them one more year. But moving on, the last Christmas Day game was why don't I have it here?
Colts Cardinals.
Yep, Colts Cards.
Without basically every offensive lineman for the Colts.
No Leonard, no Darius Leonard.
Yeah, no Darius Leonard on the defensive side, and the Colts still managed to pull it out. Jonathan Taylor rushed every game. Jonathan Taylor has rushed for over 100 yards. The Colts have won. Every game that Jonathan Taylor has not rushed for 100 yards, the Colts have lost. A little bit of a trend there.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally 100 to 100. It's not even. There's not even one little slip up in those stats right now.
Yeah.
Get Jonathan Taylor the ball. Let him run over the defense. Carson Wentz right now is in the COVID reserve list. With the NFL switching the protocols to 5 days instead of 10 days now.
That's big
for everybody.
Yeah.
Wentz can come back on Sunday if he has the right temperature and everything else. I don't know all the protocols, but
I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, Wentz showed up in the one drive in the fourth quarter when they needed him, and I'll tell you what, that was an impressive win for the Colts, especially over this Cardinals team, who's honestly going downhill, but at the same time, they're in the playoffs.
Yep.
They're going to be in the playoffs. You can't even deny that fact. So it's impressive when you know that a team has already made the playoffs. You're going in. You have not secured your spot into the playoffs yet, and you're missing most of your team.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the most impressive win over this entire Week 16 slate.
Yeah, I would suggest Arizona try to spend these next few weeks because you're going to the playoffs and you're going to be a wild card team, and they haven't lost on the road this season. They haven't, right? Am I correct in that?
I think they have won, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, maybe you're right. They've been more successful on the road though. And what I would do this week, formulate a plan around Christian Kirk, around AJ Green, around Andy Isabella. Heck, call Larry Fitzgerald. Give him a call. Like, they need to figure out how to do life without DeAndre Hopkins for these next few weeks if they want to go to the Super Bowl, if they want to go on a run. Figure out how to do it without DeAndre Hopkins. They're still trying to find their way. James Conner also didn't play. So that was, he's a Pro Bowler this year. He's had an absolute insane season. But if I was Arizona, I would figure out a way or formulate a plan, depending on who you're playing, obviously. And this is a big week coming up for them. They play the Dallas Cowboys. That's a big time matchup. They need to figure out how to attack the Cowboys defense without DeAndre Hopkins. And Kyler's going to run on. He's going to make some plays. And it's going to be interesting to see this improved Dallas Cowboys defense against mobile Kyler Murray, who last time he went to Jerry World, which was it last year? He carved him up. So, or they, at least the Cowboys couldn't do anything about it. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm excited for it. But yeah, this is a great win for the Colts. I would say it's Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Rodgers. That's the race for the MVP. And I think for Jonathan Taylor to win it, I think he would have to go for at least 200 yards in both these games to have a chance, just because it's a quarterback award, or at least stuff the stat sheet. Do something. Because Aaron's playing Minnesota this week, which could be a good game. But then Detroit week 18. So if I'm Jonathan, the focus is not for him. It's not going to be the MVP, but he'll have to stuff the stat sheet for sure. But the Colts are, after the rough start, man, they're doing a hell of a job. But let's move along on the first games on Sunday. So where are we at? We forgot. I forgot. 49ers Titans. That was Thursday night. Was a good game.
That was an impressive win for the Titans.
It was. Garoppolo up into like the last few weeks he's been playing great, but this game he throws 2 picks, gets pressured a lot. But the Titans are finding ways to win without Derrick Henry. They really are. I think Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. I think he's done a great job in Tennessee ever since he's gotten there. Because before he got in there, Jeff Fisher was there for a while, and they were. It's hard to describe the Jeff Fisher era in Tennessee. Like, I can't remember. I know they weren't great. Like, they had some years when they went to the playoffs, but they never really were. They weren't a Super Bowl team. It's not like some dynasty or anything like that. And I think Vrabel's done a heck of a job. He's made the Titans a winning franchise. And now we just have to wait for Derrick Henry. I don't think he'll be back this week, but what I'm hearing from my sources down in Nashville, is that they're saying he could be back at the latest or at the earliest week 18. So that's big. For them to be 10-5 in the thick of this thing, with the number 1 seed not even wrapped up, that's a great job by Vrabel in Tennessee.
Yeah, the biggest mistake that the Niners made throughout this game is not trying to lock down AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown had 16 targets with 11 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown.
I traded him in fantasy.
You're in the championship, though.
Yeah, that's right. I am. Thank you for saying that. All right, continue.
No, the Niners, they're definitely missing Elijah Mitchell. Hopefully he comes back this week.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. The Niners, it seems like they're always in the close games, and it's just a matter of do they pull it out or do they not.
Mm-hmm.
And Garoppolo throwing 2 picks, that was basically the deal breaker in this game, and just ended up hurting them in the end. And that's how the Titans ended up winning. So good for Tannehill and Vrabel for winning this game, no doubt about it. But I think the 49ers more or less shot themselves in the foot than anything else.
Oh, yeah. And Arizona, San Francisco, to me, was a team, as a Packer fan, I was not afraid of, but they were kind of the new Legion of Boom, like a couple years ago. You had Saleh, you had Richard Sherman. They were, Bosa, Fred Warner, and they ran the ball. They were a tough team. Like, no one wanted to, Saleh was all hyped on the sidelines. Like, I didn't want to have to play San Francisco. Now it seems like they're still kind of that. But I'm not as afraid of San Francisco now that Saleh's not there. I think he was a key piece. I think Sherm was a key piece that left when he left. And Garoppolo has been Garoppolo. He's had some good games here or there, but once in a while you'll see a 2-pick game and they lose by 3. That's kind of what you're dealing with here. Should be interesting to see what they do down the line with Garoppolo Lance. Remember, Garoppolo has a sprained thumb, and there's a chance that Trey
I
Lance.
think Trey Lance is starting this week.
Yeah. So, and they're, this is the playoffs for them essentially. I mean, they got to start, got to go 10-7 here to finish out. They're sitting at 8-7. Got to make the postseason, and then we'll see what happens from there. But big week for Trey Lance, biggest game of his life. So no pressure or anything like that. But moving on to Sunday, what's next game for you? Is it Lions Falcons?
Yeah.
Did not catch much of this game. I saw Ryan made some throws. I saw him play some football. But like, I know it's the Lions, and I feel bad that Tim Boyle and Jamal Williams could not get a Packers win for me. Old Packers players, old Packers greats. But look, I look at this Atlanta Falcons team. What are they? 7-8 or 7-8?
Yes, 7-8.
They could be worse. They could be worse. I always think back to this scene in Major League, great baseball movie. You know this, when they go to like all the fans in the city of Cleveland, and they're all working and they're all doing their jobs, but they're like talking about the Indians, and they're like, these guys aren't so bad. These guys aren't so terrible. The Atlanta Falcons could be worse. I know everyone thinks they suck because they blow leads, and they blew the lead to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They might not make the playoffs. And got me?
I've been hearing you. I just
okay. Well,
frozen.
All right. Well, I'll continue on. Just saying, like, the Atlanta Falcons could be worse. Like they. Are you with me on that? They could suck, but they could finish with a winning record. You never know.
I doubt they will, but I mean, I don't know. They're an interesting team. Without Calvin Ridley for most of the season, I mean, that's true for them. But I'll tell you what, Cordero Patterson is just a beast. I mean,
should have been a Pro Bowler.
The Bears getting rid of him was something that I was mad about at the time, and still am mad about, because you're seeing what his production is in Atlanta, and man, he would have been a great piece to keep around for the Bears.
Yeah. Well, that's worked out great for me. But yeah, the Falcons are interesting because it's Arthur Smith's first year. Last point about this game, it's his first year. He's a rookie head coach. They're a rebuilding defense. There's no Julio Jones there anymore. The running back situation is a little. I know they have Mike. What's his name? Cordero Patterson's like the running back, but he's more of a flex. Like, he does it all.
Like Davis.
Yeah. Like, they're kind of figuring out, like Todd Gurley was there last year. Like, other than Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts, trying to figure out guys who are going to step up there and be staples of the offense. And but for them to be sitting at 7-8 in the first year, in a division with obviously Tom Brady and a loaded NFC, for them to be 7-8, it could be a lot worse. It really could be. So I think the Falcons have a lot to be proud of. But moving on, Chargers Texans, the surprise game of the week. Herbert hurt me in my other fantasy league. He really did. I had a chance. We'll talk. Well, yeah. Okay. Quick story. So he only got me 18 points in a week when I lost by 4, and I could have gone to the next round of the playoffs. He threw. Sorry, looking at stats.
336, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
Yep. The 2 picks, not great. I don't know what happened to the Chargers defense. I know there was a pick 6.
No Joey Bosa. Okay. Hurt them a lot.
That is important. The Chargers. I mean, this should be a team that's there firmly in the. They're in the hunt, but it would be a failure. It really would be for them to not make the playoffs. I just think they're so talented. I don't care if they're maybe we're 1 year early, like we're not ready to make the playoffs. No, this team has the horses to go. Like, they have Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Their defense is talented when healthy. That's the key. So it's a shocker of a loss. It looks like the Texans, looks like Davis Mills could be the best quarterback in the rookie class.
You're saying that because of 1 week.
Okay, I'm just saying. No. Okay.
He had 1 good week. He's had 1 good week. Let's see what he does the rest of the time when he faces better defenses.
Fine, whatever. Gosh, anything else to say about this game, or should we move on?
No, it's
Yeah,
it
Rams
was just
Vikings.
a shocker. That's basically it.
Yeah, Rams Vikings. Rams win 30-23. However, this is a game Minnesota should have won. They should have won it. Stafford throws 3 picks. And he actually said in the post game presser, he was talking to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, and he said, "Yeah, I really wanted to give that game away, didn't I?" He threw 3 picks. Kind of the story of Minnesota, though. Like Minnesota, they were given opportunities. They got 3 turnovers, and they should have won. They didn't, and their season's over. I know they're 7-8 or whatever they're around, but they're going to Lambeau Field, and they're the Niners, Eagles, they're teams that are right in front of them. It's not looking great. Also, Adam Thielen had ankle surgery today. He's out for the year. I don't want to say he's throwing in the towel, but like Minnesota, yeah, who knows what the future holds for Mike Zimmer. If he does get fired, they would definitely be the most talented team, or I think they would be the most coveted spot for a head coach. They have a lot of good pieces, but I don't know. The Rams are. I don't know how to look at the Rams. Like they were trying to figure out their way early on, and now they're starting to get the pieces rolling. But then Stafford throws 3 picks, and this kind of feels like, I don't know. It feels like him and Jared Goff are the same.
I don't know about that.
No. Not like just in the Rams, because Jared Goff made 2 Pro Bowls with her. Like he was good. He was good with the Rams until that last year. To me, it feels like the Rams are the same. It feels like they're the same. Von Miller, obviously, it's a great addition, no question about it. He hasn't really gotten going though the way I'd hoped. Like I know they have talent, and it's going to be interesting to see. Like we've talked about on the phone before, like if they were to meet like a Dallas Cowboy, like if they were to meet them, like that would be a great matchup. I just don't know how far the Rams. Of course, they can go to the Super Bowl, whatever. But like, I'm not set in stone. I don't know how far they can really do it if Stafford throws 3 picks or whatever. Like special teams help them out. Defense played well, but I don't know.
He's playing a former division rival, and they know who Stafford is and what he's capable of doing.
Yeah.
And Zimmer's the defensive mind, so Zimmer's going to come up with different ideas to shut Stafford down. Zimmer's come up with ideas to shut Aaron Rodgers down. Let's not forget about that as well.
Okay.
So,
yep. Yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying that it's a matter of 1 week. I mean, granted, it's late in the season, but 1 week isn't the end-all be-all of who he's been for this entire year.
Yep.
So,
yeah. He's been good this year. He's been good. And they're getting Cam Akers back, right? They're getting Cam Akers back possibly this week. So that's huge, and they'll get better and better. And Minnesota, they got to go play they got to go play the Packers this week. 0 to 0. It's supposed to be 0 degrees on Sunday night, so that's gonna be crazy. Next up, Ravens Bengals. Ravens. So no Lamar Jackson, no Tyler Huntley. They end up playing Josh Johnson, who was a journeyman, by the way, who's been in the game 11, 12, 13 years, something like that. I think he's been on
long time
teams. Or he's and those are kind of the coolest players to me. Like he might not be an All-Pro. He's not going to the Hall of Fame, but like he's been around and he knows football, been in a lot of different systems. Kind of like the who was the pitcher for the Edwin something, or he's been on like 15 or 20 teams. Maybe he's retired.
I'm talking about Aaron Santana.
Nope, nope. I'm looking this up. We can't move on without it.
He's like a Josh McCown.
Edwin
Josh
Jackson,
McCown.
right?
Yeah.
Right. No, but that is good too. That's a better football analogy. So he's been around.
Josh McCown's been on so many different
Yeah,
teams.
he has. And Bengals were the better team. Like without Lamar, Huntley, they didn't really have a shot. And Bengals are the new dog on the block. I mean, they're back from being irrelevant. You know, those Andy Dalton, AJ Green teams were they were good. That's how I'm going to say that word. They were good. They were there, I guess, but they never really could win a playoff game. This team looks so much more explosive. They have a Pro Bowl pass rusher in Trey Hendrickson. The defense is better than it's been in years past. Like Joe Burrow has this offense moving. Like he's the franchise. Jamar Chase is a stud. Joe Mixon finally makes a Pro Bowl. He's had a heck of a year. Like they have studs. I mean, T. Higgins is the number 2. Him and Jamar Chase are both over 1,000 yards. So they have some studs. I mean, so Cincinnati, and that's a big game too this week. They play Kansas City. That's a big game, but probably the biggest game the Bengals have had. I mean, maybe since that Steelers playoff game where they unraveled. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting matchup. I mean, we'll get to that later, but that the Bengals, the win over the Ravens is impressive for what Joey Burrow did. But at the same time, the Ravens, I mean, they're missing so many different pieces, and they're starting Josh Johnson, who hasn't been in the organization for the longest period of time so far this year. So good for the Bengals. The Ravens, they've dug themselves in a hole, and they need to try and find a way to get back out of it because right now they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they were off to, I remember at the beginning of the year what they were like 0-2, and had they lost to the Chiefs, they would have been 0-3 or something like that. They get the 2-point, or no, they get a turnover, and then they get the first down, or they go for it. Like that. That's what the Ravens do. That's what Harbaugh does, and I love it. They're aggressive. And this year, you know, they've gone for it, gone for 2, I think, or they've missed like 4 times. And if they had gotten those 4, they would be the first seed in the AFC. So it's do or die for the Ravens, and they're very aggressive. And I appreciate that, but gotta come through. Just gotta come through. So Ravens they gotta fight. They gotta fight. Next up, Jets Jaguars. Don't really want to spend too much time on this one. It's the matchup of the number 1 and number 2 overall pick. Jets are the better team. Zach Wilson showed off his abilities by, you know, running that long touchdown. And, you know, he said after the game, he said probably the greatest moment of his life was throwing to one of their offensive linemen for a touchdown. Jaguars are just, again, they're looking for a new head coach. They're kind of in shambles right now. Who would you like to see? Yeah, while we're on this, who would you like to see as the Jaguars' next hire?
I hate saying this because I want Byron Leftwich to go to the Bears.
Yeah.
But I have a good feeling Byron Leftwich is going to go back to the team he played for and coach for them.
Yep. It's like it's not like college, like how, you know, if you like people are saying Dabo Sweeney like a couple of years ago, like, oh, maybe he'll go back home to Alabama and coach there or something if Saban were to leave. Like, it's not like that, but again, Leftwich was there, like you said, like he knows the organization. That would be a definite good hire. You know, I would hate to do this as well, but Nathaniel Hackett, Packers offensive coordinator, who I love dearly. He loves Austin Powers. They came up with the Gold Zone. I love gold. I think that's hilarious. But to coach like Leftwich, he coached Brady, or he's been the OC for Brady. Like Hackett to coach Aaron Rodgers, to bring that expertise down to a Trevor Lawrence would be big too. Other guys like Jim Caldwell, maybe a Josh McDaniels. I don't know if I'd want Doug Peterson. I know he's a Super Bowl winning head coach, but you know, that'd be an interesting hire. A lot of interesting hires for sure, but you know, like a Leftwich or a Hackett or someone who's dealt with an all-time great quarterback before to really help out the situation. So that's something to look forward to.
Here, while we're on this topic, do you think either Tomlin or why am I blanking on the name? at the moment? Saints head coach right now. Why am I blanking?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. Do you think Tomlin or Sean Payton are going to get fired this year?
No, and I love Mike Tomlin. I do, and I remember watching Pat McAfee's show on Monday, and people in Pittsburgh or they were saying like people in Pittsburgh are like calling for the heads of Mike Tomlin and everyone there. But then that's just Monday. Like they'll be back. Like they'll start loving him again on Tuesday and Wednesday. They just need to draft a quarterback. Pittsburgh needs to hit the reset here. There's no Juju, obviously. They just need to hit the reset and find a new quarterback. And Tomlin, there's no coach I'd rather have lead my team than Mike Tomlin. If I'm Pittsburgh Steelers, you can't find anyone better. There's a reason they've had only 3 or 4 coaches in their history. Like,
yeah,
it's greatness. And then Peyton, it's your first year without Drew Brees. You have Jameis Winston, who goes 5-2 before blowing out his knee. Ian Book is starting no, I think they're safe for sure. They've accomplished a lot of wins in this league. They're Super Bowl champions. No, I think they're both safe for sure. Moving on, Bucks, Panthers, not much to go in here. Buccaneers wrap up the NFC South 32-6. Panthers suck. Do you have anything to say about that?
Nope.
Okay.
I got nothing for that one.
Yeah, steer clear. Bills, Patriots. This was a big time performance by the Buffalo Bills. Bills win 33-21. This is a game the Bills needed because had they lost, they would have been 8-7, and that would have been crazy to think for sure. But I mean, let me look at. I mean, Josh Allen came to play 30 of 47, 314 yards, 3 tuds. Also ran for 64 yards. Isaiah McKenzie, who only had 9 catches coming into the game, had 11 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. Diggs caught 7 for 85 yards and a touchdown. I mean, they came to play. Buffalo did. They got Mac Jones to throw 2 picks. That's what happens when you're not playing Buffalo and it's windy and snowing and crazy. It was good weather, and they came to play and they beat him straight up.
I don't think Mac Jones is going to be the next end-all be-all for the league.
Yeah.
I've told you probably more on the phone than on here.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is good, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't think he has the physical abilities to last in the league for as long as what other people have. And it's kind of showing towards the end of the year where the Patriots are now starting to lose these games that, people were projecting them to win because they went on like a 5 or 6 game stretch where they didn't play the greatest talent and they just kept winning ball games.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to play a little bit of good talent. You lose to the Colts, and now you lose to the Bills.
The
only thing that's saving the Patriots is that they have a favorable schedule for the last 2 weeks of the season. Yeah. And I think they're going to get beat in the first round of the playoffs.
It would be interesting to see. When was the last time we saw the Patriots go on the road in the playoffs? Do you remember? Now that I think of it, as I say it out loud, Denver. I mean, they went to Denver against Peyton Manning. It feels like they just never go on the road, and I think we're going to get to see that here in a few weeks, and that should be interesting. Especially what the conditions are. Like if it's snowing or windy, don't let Mac Jones throw the ball, or I don't know. It's going to be intriguing to see for sure. But Bills' massive win. That was a game they needed, and they got it. Moving on. Don't really want to spend much time talking about this. Eagles beat Giants 34-10. Just Eagles are rattling off a couple wins against some bad teams, but they're the last team in the playoffs, the NFC.
Yeah, they've developed a solid run game. Jalen Hurts is getting more mental reps at this point, which is helping him out. Who knows? The Eagles, I mean, they could make a little bit of a run here at the end and stay in that last wild card spot. And do they win a playoff game? I doubt it. But for what they've overcome throughout this entire season and nobody believing in them, especially us, I mean, it's just cool to see. It's definitely cool to see.
I'm confused. So how does say the seeds hold serve. Say these are the teams and this is where they'll be playing. Who goes so after does the winner of the 2-7 game like say so would the Cowboys and Eagles say they play? Would the winner of that go to Green Bay? Or who plays?
No, it'll be the lowest seed. The lowest
Oh
seed
yeah,
winner goes to the highest seed.
that's how it works. Okay. Yes. Go Philly. All right. So moving on though. Broncos, Raiders. Raiders come up big. I didn't catch all I saw was the Derek Carr dime to Hunter Renfrow in the end zone for a touchdown. Raiders get a big time win. They've given themselves like this is the farthest they've been like involved in the playoffs for a few years now. Like they're 8-7. They have to go play the Colts, which is going to be brutal. It's going to be tough to do, and then they play the Chargers. So after all they've been through this season, they've been through a lot, and it's a lot of it's off the field. After all they've been through, though, these two games, they have a chance to go to the playoffs if they win both of them. So I mean, I don't think you can ask for much more than that. It's a tall ask. It really is. But they're in a position here to do something.
They are in a position to do something.
But
Do they actually pull it out? I don't think so. I think they're going to lose probably both of them.
probably they'll get killed. Yeah.
I didn't say get killed, but
No,
I just don't think.
no. We're like talking about like I'm trying to hype them up, but they'll probably just get absolutely destroyed. I feel like
Yeah,
that's just what happens whenever I say something. That's what's going to happen. Great.
No, I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough situation for them because a lot of people are pulling for them, but at the same time, like they just don't have it yet.
I know what you're saying. I love it. I love that. I love it when people have it. It's just the team, a person, whatever. It's about a swagger. Like, can they go out there? Can they dominate? Like, can you believe in them? I see what you're saying with it. I get it. Do they have it? No, they probably don't. But I guess we'll find out in Indy come Sunday.
Sure.
Seahawks Bears. I'll give you the floor.
The Bears had no necessary reason to win that game. Nagy was basically came out and just saved his job for the last 2 weeks of the season with that win. But the bigger story is what happened to the Seahawks. Like Russ just isn't. I don't know. He's not performing like he has in the past. I know they're missing Jamal Adams, which is a big loss for their secondary on the defensive side. But like besides that, they're not really missing much for their team, and they had a lot more higher expectations coming into this season. And now you're losing to the Bears, who are an even bigger disappointment throughout the. I don't know, probably not a bigger disappointment since they just beat the Seahawks and jumped ahead of them in the standings. But all in all, that game really didn't mean much of anything besides the fact that the Seahawks now have a better draft position.
At this point, Seattle, like Ross and Bobby Wack, like they can't do it. Like they can't hold it up by themselves. And Pete Carroll's a good coach. I'd love like if you're asking me if I'd love to play for any coaches in the league, I'd say Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin might be at the top. Like Pete Carroll loves his players, and you see it. You know, he brings that. He's the oldest coach in the league and still brings all the energy. They just, I don't know. It's just like when you're bad, it kind of snowballs a little bit, and the whole, people are going to ask, what's happening with Russ? Could Pete Carroll get fired? Who knows? It's just, I don't know. Dark days in Seattle. Or dark days in Seattle right now, and I don't really know. Like if they're going to keep Pete Carroll and if Russell Wilson wants to stay, then they got to hit. You have a Jamal Adams, you have Bobby Wagner. I know Carlos Dunlap is in his 30s, but he's still a decent pass rusher. Again, you have a Metcalf, you have a Lockett. I don't know if Chris Carson he was unhealthy this year. I don't know what the answer is at running back. Defense does need to be better though. It has not been, the Legion of Boom hasn't been there in a while now. So KJ Wright left this offseason. Like there was a lot of moves have to be made for Seattle to get back in position because I thought they would have been a playoff team at least. At the very least, who knows what Russell Wilson was going to do, and I thought at least they would give themselves a chance to maybe make a run. But his finger injury, it's just all kind of snowballed, and Chicago just wanted it more than Seattle did. I think that's kind of all it boils down to. But moving on, Steelers Chiefs, not much of a game here. I know we talked about Mike Tomlin earlier. Chiefs trounced the Steelers. They were just with Mike Tomlin, with Big Ben sitting back there in the pocket. He's a duck. Just it's there's no juju. Like I said earlier, they're 7-7-1. They're not dead yet, but I mean their offense is not. It's at a standstill point, and the defense, like I feel like people say the Steelers have a Super Bowl defense, yet the defense is terrible. Like I feel like it just kind of depends on how they play any given Sunday. I think TJ Watt's the defensive player there. I think he really should be it. He's been an absolute beast, but when you're 7-7-1, you lose 36-10. It's not great, and people are going to call for Mike Tomlin's head, but it's just Mike Tomlin. Again, there's no coach that I feel more confident in to turn this thing around than Mike Tomlin. It all starts at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, they're gonna. This is not the draft to go and get a quarterback for the draft. I think probably like a Tyler Huntley would be a good
I was
fit for
going to say the exact same thing.
I mean, somebody of that caliber. Does Mitch leave Buffalo to go somewhere? Possibly the New York Giants.
Yeah,
I mean that would be a good fit for him. I don't know. There'll be a lot of veteran quarterbacks in this league that are going to get shipped around this offseason.
Yeah,
I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard like Matt Ryan. Would Matt Ryan go to Pittsburgh? Like obviously Aaron.
I don't think he's leaving Atlanta.
Yeah, like we've heard Aaron's name. Obviously, like Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh. It makes sense. Maybe
that's a very real possibility. I
okay,
can see that.
Okay, just Russell Wilson maybe. It's just who knows. And again, we will have to see. I mean, maybe Kenny Pickett from University of Pittsburgh stays in Pittsburgh. You never know. A lot of different ways to look at this, but again, I trust Mike Tomlin. I do. Let's talk about this game. Cowboys, Washington. Like, okay, we don't need to talk about the game necessarily. Like, look, the Cowboys are a better team. Washington, no Montez Sweat, no Chase Young for a while now. Like, kind of figure like if you were asked, hey, are the Cowboys capable of blowing out the Washington football team? Yes. Like this isn't a surprise to me. But after watching this game, what do you think? Like, do you believe in, do you think the Cowboys are better than the Bucs and the Packers? I'll ask that.
Than the Bucs? Yes. Than the Packers? I don't know. It depends on what. It honestly depends on which week we're talking about for the Cowboys. I mean, they've had weeks where they've been absolute duds, and then they've had weeks where they're scoring 56 points. There really hasn't been the middle ground for the Cowboys yet this year. I mean,
yeah.
Am I wrong with saying that?
No, you're not.
It all depends on, do they stay hot and continue this run of, hey, we can score a boatload of points? We'll have to find out. But if they go out and lay a dud, then they're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Would you say Tampa, like they're better than Tampa, like because of the Godwin injury? Like, would you say the Godwin thing hurt? Is that the big? Yeah.
Probably?
Yeah.
We'll see, man. There are so many interesting matchups for the Cowboys. Like say they don't get the 1 seed. Say it goes to the Packers. I mean, Cowboys Rams would be interesting. Like just maybe not in the first round, but just in general, like Cowboys Rams, or again playing the Bucs again, which you can make the case. Cowboys probably should have won that game in week 1 to kick off the season. There's a couple missed calls, you know. It is what it is. I think the Cowboys, they beat Washington, great. And their defense has improved. I think Dan Quinn has done a hell of a job there. With that said, though, would I like against Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? I'm not ready to put the Cowboys above them. They're certainly better, and they're certainly the third best team in the conference. But we'll see. We'll see. That's all we can do. We can see. That's all we can see. Final game. Okay, I want to talk about a quick story. So fantasy in my family league, I'm down probably. What was I down by? Was I down by like 39 or something? I don't know. Yeah, Miami defense has a hell of a game. 8 sacks. They get a pick 6 for a touchdown. A lot of passes blocked, whatever it is. I'm down 4. I crawl all the way back. I'm down 4 to my uncle. All right, Uncle Pete, if you're watching, hey. Saints have the ball. I need maybe a sack, maybe a fumble, a pick, something. The Dolphins tackle Alvin Kamara, the ball squirts out, and the Dolphins take it back for 6 for a forced fumble. So if that happens, I'm up 2, I think. I take the lead. I probably win. They call the play back. It's reviewed, and Alvin Kamara was down clearly, and the ball did not pop out. So my fantasy football season is over. And sometimes it's that close. Sometimes fantasy is just not picking. Like Justin Jackson, I didn't start him this week. I chose to start Josh Jacobs. Justin Jackson ends up with 33 points. Josh Jacobs gets 11. Like sometimes that's all fantasy is. You know that. You're not playing right now. Your season's over. Sometimes,
hey, I'm still in a different league.
Okay. Sometimes it's all about just you didn't make this call or that call. You didn't play this guy. That's all it is sometimes. So
that's why it's called fantasy, my guy. That's why it's called fantasy.
But anyway, to the game. Dolphins win. Dolphins are the hottest team in the league. Regardless of who they've played some bad teams, Jets twice, the Giants. They've played some poopy teams. With that said, though, winning 7 in a row after losing 7 in a row is pretty difficult to do. And they're currently the last spot in the AFC. They're the last team in the AFC playoffs. So credit to Brian Flores. I respect the hell out of him. I think Tua, I feel like is the king. I think Tua's had a nice stretch though, and he's certainly a very accurate quarterback. Completes a lot of passes. I feel like he is the king of like 21 of like 36 for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick. Like, what I'm talking about? Like those.
He doesn't help him, but he doesn't hurt him.
What's that?
So he doesn't help him, but he doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he doesn't go above and beyond. He's a good quarterback, and I think what his record is like 11. Well, now it's like 12-7. Before last night or before Monday night, it was 11-7. So it's like, okay, he's good, but like, is he going to start to take that next step? So it's interesting to look at that. Didn't hurt him though, obviously. He did throw a questionable pick, but still the Dolphins, they overwhelmed Ian Book, who was starting for the Saints. Saints season is probably, it's kind of like the Vikings. They're 7-8 teams in front of them. Like they fall all the way down to the 10th spot in the NFC. So it's probably over for them. But Miami, all they need to do is just win out and they're there, there's certain ways to look at coach of the year. You could probably make a case for 15 or 20 coaches. You really can. Brian Flores starting off 1-7, then bringing his team to the playoffs. That's pretty damn good. I have been a proponent for years of Matt LaFleur. Obviously, I'm biased, but Matt LaFleur being named coach of the year just because. People are saying like Harbaugh, like if they make the playoffs, I think it was Tone Diggs on Pat's show was saying like, Mike Tomlin should be coach of the year for what he's had to do or for how he's had to, coach the Steelers and getting them to where they are. So there's a lot of coaches. I think Brian Flores, though, is at the top of the list with LaFleur for what they've done. So that's a great job by Miami.
There's no doubt about it. Losing 7 straight. I was saying that they were the worst team in football, and then they come back and then they win 7 straight, and now they're the hottest team in football besides the Colts.
Yeah.
You got to give credit when credit's due. it is what it is.
Mhm.
They've proven me wrong. They've proven a lot of people wrong. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they have a good shot. They definitely have a good shot to stay in the playoffs, but it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. All right. As we wrap this up, you tell me. So, looking at the standings, do you think they hold serve? Like, do you think anything changes?
Um,
I think in the AFC, that I feel like in the AFC, there's certainly a lot to change. NFC, I don't know.
I think the Chargers get ahead of the Dolphins.
You do?
Yes.
Do you think so? You think the Dolphins don't make the playoffs?
No.
Are you looking at their schedule?
They play the Titans this week.
Who do they play after?
The Dolphins play the Patriots the final week.
Ooh, yikes. Well, it's been a heck of a year for the Miami Dolphins fan base. It really has. They made a great comeback in the season, but they might fall short. No, but that is that. I mean, if hey, look, they played 7 teams, 7 crappy teams. They won all of them. Now they're back to playing real competition, and let's see what they can do. I mean, they beat the Ravens earlier on, but that's interesting.
All right.
I don't know.
We're gonna do
NFC.
one more thing.
Okay.
Run through the slate for this week. I'm gonna just list the games. You say who wins and who loses
Let's
real
go.
quick.
I'm locked and loaded, ready to go.
All right. Bucks Jets.
Jets. No, Bucks.
I have the Bucks as well. Giants Bears.
Bears.
Okay, we're both on the Bears. Chiefs Bengals.
Chiefs.
Yeah, okay. We're still the same. Dolphins Titans.
Where's the game at?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I'm saying the home team. I'm saying the
Yeah.
home team second. Tennessee. All right, we're both on Tennessee.
Mm.
Eagles football team.
Eagles.
Okay, we're both on the Eagles. Falcons Bills.
Bills.
Same here. Jags Pats.
Okay, wait. Wait. What's our record? Sorry, before we go on. What is it?
137, 87, and 1 is what I am.
Okay.
129, 95, and 1 is what you are.
8 games back. Oh gosh.
With 2 weeks to go.
Wow, I should probably start picking some different teams. Okay, go. Jags, Pats.
Jags Pats, yeah.
Pats.
Yep, same here. Raiders Colts. I have the Colts.
You know what? Give me the Raiders. Let's go. I think the Raiders are going to go to the playoffs. Let's go. Stand up, Vegas.
Rams Ravens. I have the Rams.
Give me the Ravens, and not because of the records. I actually think that is Lamar back this week?
I do not know. I
Okay.
honestly do not know that.
Well, at the very least, Huntley will be back because of COVID.
True.
So, look, I think Harbaugh, this is a big game. This is the game could be the game of the weekend. This is the Ravens game of the year, though. Like they have to win this.
They have to.
I believe in Harbaugh. They'll be ready. Give me the Ravens.
Broncos Chargers. I have the Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers.
Texans Niners. I have the Niners.
Davis Mills. There was 5 picks. Give me the Niners.
Cardinals Cowboys. I have the Cowboys.
Give me the Cards. I think the Cowboys are going to falter. I really do. I think Arizona's going to figure it out. Give me Arizona.
Lions Seahawks. I chose the Seahawks, but I don't know.
Is the game in Detroit?
No.
Hey, no one knows the Seahawks. No one knows what it's like to play the Seahawks better than Jared Goff. Amon-Ra St. Brown, by the way, has been on a tear these last 4 games.
I picked him up in my other league.
This could be. No. That's next week. Wait, is this the Seahawks' last home game? I don't know.
I do not know.
That's important. Wait, I gotta look that up. I'll quickly look it up. Scores, week 17. Yeah, this could be Russell Wilson's last home game in Seattle. The Packers. Like I'm saying this. The Green Bay Packers a couple of years ago, after an ugly season, had the Lions at home and they lost. They got crushed, and it was bad, and it could get bad in Seattle on Sunday. Give me Jared Goff. Give me MCDC. Give me the Detroit Lions. Seahawks just have no energy right now. They have no energy. Like you saw that on Sunday. Like the Bears went in and like when you're losing and you're on a down spiral, you can't really stop it. I mean, give me Detroit.
All right. Panthers Saints. I have the Saints.
Carolina. Oh, give me the Saints.
Vikings Packers. I have the Packers.
God save me. Minnesota. No. God, Packers. Give me the Packers. Yeah. Gonna be a great game. 0 degrees. Gonna be fun.
Browns Steelers. Probably Big Ben's last game at home. I'm going with the Steelers.
I am so pissed that game is on Monday Night Football. They could not pick a better game. Like both those teams are probably going to miss the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be a shit game. Pardon my language. Give me Pittsburgh. Give me Pittsburgh.
Okay.
You pick Pittsburgh, you said?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Have you seen that? The Brett Michaels?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good. All right. So that's done. The show's over. Whatever. We're not doing. Are we doing another show this week? No. Yeah, no. We're fine.
Oh, this is it, my guy.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. What do you got going on the rest of the day? Nothing?
The rest of the day, I'm going to go.
You're going to go what? Sorry, I interrupted.
I'm going to cash out some bets that I won earlier. So.
Okay.
And I'm going to go watch Iowa State play Clemson, which they're currently playing right now.
Okay, I will shut up. Go watch the Book of Boba Fett, though. Disney Plus. It's like the new man. It's not. We're still waiting for season 3 of The Mandalorian. Go see The Mandalorian, by the way. Have you watched any of it?
Nope.
Oh my gosh! And you have this. Okay, go watch that. All right, after this game, go start watching The Mandalorian. I've got you to watch Harry Potter before. I'm going to tell you to watch this now, and then Book of Boba Fett is kind of the next. I would finish The Mandalorian before I start the Book of Boba Fett. But anyway, I'll shut up. You have a good evening, and we'll talk. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Peace out, my guy.